Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am the Crypto Crow here with Ronis Gracie, John Kim, and Adam Charles. He's disconnecting all of his porn devices so that he can get a good live stream. So we'll be right back after this brief disclaimer. Stick around.
Did you raise me?
No, he just talking about
Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins. Grow your coins, grow your coins, you gotta grow your coins.
And we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I am the Crypto Crow. In the upper left corner, you will find Adam Charles of Boosto, the big crypto influencer awards guy who does like all kinds of stuff with crypto. I didn't even know half the shiz this guy did until recently. We've got Ronis Gracie. I know nobody that's watching this has any idea who the Gracie family is, so we'll enlighten you guys a little later. And then we've got John Kim, who people are going to notice that, well, not all Asian fighters look alike, and the thumbnail on this video is actually not this guy. There are more than one Johnny Kims in MMA. But I did this all in like 5 minutes and threw this all together. So bear with me. Welcome, gentlemen. I was going to say ladies and gentlemen, but I guess we'll call Adam a gentleman as well. So, the big topic of discussion right now, obviously, being Litecoin sponsoring the UFC, which is absolutely crazy to me. Where do we even start with this? Because this is a whole kind of rabbit hole. Who wants to start and their thoughts of this?
I will.
Adam.
I'll go first because once Johnny starts talking, he ain't gonna shut up. By the way, if you guys follow Crypto Crow on Twitter, when you go back to October, you'll find a video where me and Johnny Kim here, we actually had a match at the World Crypto Con where Johnny was dressed as the Litecoin, actual like a Litecoin suit, like it was Mickey Mouse. I came by, said, you know, Bitcoin's better than Litecoin. No offense, Litecoiner, I do like Litecoin. And then Johnny attacked me and slammed me on the ground and put me in an armbar. So then I had to get up, suplex them, and put them in a rear naked choke. I believe I won that one.
I thought you got your ass beat, Adam. I think your recollection of that is a little off. But that's okay. Wait, did I say that live and out loud? That was a good video.
It was.
Not rehearsed. It was. That's how we met. We met after the fight. We're like, hey, let's shake hands, you know. But
so that wasn't staged at all.
No, not at all.
The part where he tapped me was staged, but the part that I tapped him was 100% real.
You sandbagged me, man. First. Okay, I sandbagged you on the takedown a little bit. So Ron, you tried a double leg on me, and I wasn't supposed to sprawl, but my instincts took over, so I sprawled, and then he had to actually dump me.
What was that? Where did this took place?
So
where was this?
The World Crypto Con in Vegas.
Oh, in the middle of the conference, you guys start like sparring and
they
just
were
wrestling?
wearing costumes. They were dressed up like coins, and they decided to start wrestling around. And then and it started there, and then they ended up almost naked wrestling. I guess the costumes got in the way of their arm bars of each other.
I'm just saying.
Well,
and Adam, your microphone sucks. We need to get you something better.
I could try this.
Oh, he's got the elephant suppository. That'll probably work a lot better. I had one of those too, and then I got a real mic. No, I'm kidding. We can't rib Adam too much because I'm never going to hear the end of it for like a month after the night.
Yo, for real, is my sound really that bad? I can plug in the mic.
Well, a lot of the people in chat are saying your mic sucks.
All right, I'll go switch it out in a second.
It should be plug and play, isn't it?
I got the cord downstairs.
Well, you're better when you're close. I can hear you better when you're close. You're kind of lounging, but yeah, well, you don't have to. Nice nose hairs. All right, so Litecoin, obviously, there's a lot of, I think there's going to be a lot more discussion. People in chat, Crow, Tone Vase was very against it today. I feel like Tone Vase is against everything, though. So, like, I don't count that as much.
It's a scam. It's a scam.
Everything's a scam and a shitcoin, right?
Bro, I swear to God, man, if I see him on the streets, I'm telling you, he's got the face that only a mother could love.
Oh,
He's got one of those faces in the gym. Like, soon as you walk in, you just want to slap him. That's the same face that I see, and every time I see him, I just get nauseous.
So you're crushing on him a little bit. Is that what you're saying?
I don't like him. I don't like him at all.
I've met him. I've met him a couple times. I mean, he was kind of ribbing me a little bit because of this whole blockchain terminal thing going on, and him and David Silver were talking about an article that was totally full of crap, and I don't think they really did much reading or looking into it, and they were kind of, Tone's people had just emailed me asking if I would put him on my show to promote his conference. And then, like, a day or two later, he's kind of like, oh, I was on Crow's show just recently. Like, I don't know. The whole thing is weird. It's like, give me a break. He kind of burned a bridge with me for that. So I'm just like, I'm done with Tone altogether. But, I really don't have a whole, outside of that, I don't have a lot against him. It's just he's such a Bitcoin purist that everything that's not Bitcoin is a scam or crap or garbage or shitcoin. And that is so... I stopped watching him a while back because I'm so tired of hearing that shit. So
hey, I like Tony Vase. So Tony Vase came to the event where most of us met. It was at Consensus last year.
Yes, that's right. I think that was the first time I met him. Yeah,
the first Crypto Influence Awards. That's where I introduced you and Ronis together, and I met Tony. So I had got Tony a hotel room, a fantastic hotel room in basically a New York skyscraper, and Tony didn't want it. Actually, his assistant got it, like contacted me for it. So Tony gave me his hotel room, and that night after the event, I stayed in the greatest room I've ever stayed in my entire life. It had 2 rooms inside the room. Like, there was a guest room, a master bedroom, like a big ass shower with like I could fit like 4 people into the hot tub. Not that I tried it out, but I could have. And that's all thanks to Tony.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I will defend Tony to the death. And if you got to go after Tony, Johnny. Me and you are having.
Here's my issue. I met you and I met Crow. You guys are the same on camera, off camera. You guys are the same people, right? If Tone is pushing his persona as the Bitcoin maximalist, then I don't like his persona, right? The character that he's playing on TV, on YouTube. But in real life, he could be different. He could be a cool cat. So I'm cool with that.
But I
just don't like this.
Socially awkward, I think, in person.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's very kind of
stays in his
circle.
He stays in his basement, and shoots video all day on YouTube. That's all he does, and trades.
Well, what was his argument against Litecoin sponsoring UFC? Was
I
he
didn't
against?
watch it. I didn't watch. People are just saying in my chat that that's what was going on earlier. I guess that he was just.
Well, number one, him and Charlie are friends, right? But he still called Charlie a scammer, and Litecoin a scam. So everything that has to do with Litecoin is automatically he's going to put it in that category as a scam.
Right.
Well, how can they be friends if he calls him a scammer?
Because it's a term that's so loosely used all over crypto, it means nothing anymore. I mean, it's like calling Adam bald. Like, okay, he's bald, but then I'm gonna go and I'm gonna call John bald because I don't know. Like, why not? You know, all men are bald. It's just that's what it's become. You know, it's like you've got one real bald guy, and then it's like everybody else is bald too. I don't know. Yes, there's scams in the space. Litecoin a scam? I really don't think so. It's kind of stupid at this point to keep regurgitating that line about everything. So
yeah, it feels like, you know, when someone doesn't like some coin, the immediate reaction is to call it a scam.
Right. Because
Instead of
everybody
saying,
wants
"Look,
to attract other people that are angry about the same thing so that they feel like they're not alone. And it's almost like this catchphrase, this magnetic catchphrase to attract other negative sentiment people to like band together and shit all over whatever the topic is. And it drives me nuts. It really does, because it's not good for the space in general.
I agree. I'm also, I mean, I do prefer Bitcoin as well over Litecoin, but I think Litecoin is far from a scam. And I'm actually very happy to see, Litecoin sponsoring UFC. I think this is a very big step for not just Litecoin, but for cryptocurrency in general. I don't remember the last time we saw any cryptocurrency sponsor such a large event like this one. We're talking about, one of the 4 biggest sports in the planet right now, and in a major event like this, I don't think anybody could argue that this is a bad thing, especially coming from someone from the crypto community.
Right.
I just see this as
I
a
tried
huge
to explain to Tone this, and I've explained this to other people. You've got Bitcoin, okay? Bitcoin to me is like the uber old vampire, right? It's the first vampire to exist, and he went out and bit all these people, and he has all these underling vampires, right? And it's kind of like, and they're all, because it really is like that. There's this symbiosis there. Everything is connected to Bitcoin in one way or another. And in the promotion of these altcoins, it's ultimately going to help Bitcoin grow. And overall, there you go. And so, and I told him, I said, look, even though Bitcoin can be the grand poobah, it's the altcoin projects that are really driving the innovation further into the second and third generation. And so for me, when I see something like Litecoin, or I see any other altcoins that are doing well, they're viable, they're useful, and they're doing things to expand the brand of crypto as a whole, I think that should be cheered and applauded and supported, not ignorantly calling everything out there a shitcoin or a scam. That's not helping Bitcoin. That is a very short-term perspective on the space in general. And I've always said you can measure somebody's intelligence by their foresight. The further you can see into the future, that to me is what quantifies true intelligence. Which is why all of us are morons, because none of us saw the bear market lasting and going on as long as it is. So that being said, but that's how I look at it. And so what I am curious to know, though, and hopefully some of you guys know, what is the extent of the sponsorship? Like, is it just going to be the Litecoin logo? Is it just going to be on some fighters' shirts and shorts? Or is there going to be some sort of like commercialing going on during Fox Sports? Like, what's the extent of this?
Okay, so what's going on is we are a sponsoring partner, official cryptocurrency partner for UFC 232, right? And during Cyborg and Nunez's championship match, Bruce Buffer will announce that Litecoin is the official cryptocurrency partner of UFC 232, and we'll be on the mat, not in the center, but right outside of the center. So the center is going to be probably a monster, but right outside of that, it's going to be
on the outer ring or directly outside of the center.
No, right outside of the center.
Wow.
So it's not even close. It's not even close to the cage. It's like right on top of the big circle.
Was it paid for with Litecoin, or was it paid for in fiat?
So it was paid for in fiat.
Okay.
Okay. So I can't go into details about what all went on, but here's what's going on. The partnership, they were very excited to be a part because, they have Harley Davidson, they have, Monster Energy, they have Metro PCS, but I guess what we brought to the table was kind of refreshing. It was a different type of, not a company, but a currency. See, UFC, they're still in the dark. They think we're a company, but we're not a company, right? We're a currency. So that's something we need to talk to them about. But the beautiful thing about this is they love us, we love them, and they have 1.1 billion people around the world, households that watch UFC, over 180 different countries. So now, why did I push this? Because cryptocurrency is a global phenomenon. It's going to be a global currency. This partnership beats NFL. This partnership beats NBA and NHL, because that's just in America.
Right.
Like I said before, no one knows in India who Patrick Mahomes is. No one in Korea cares who Patrick Mahomes is, right? But you know what? In Korea, everybody knows who John Jones and Conor McGregor is.
Mm-hmm.
People in Ireland knows who Conor McGregor is. This is a global phenomenon. And I felt like it matched our identity as Litecoin, wanting to be the world currency. You know what I mean? And you know how when Dana White and Fertitta Brothers bought UFC for, like, I think $100 million. I don't know the exact number, but I think it was in the millions, right? And they sold it for $4.5 billion, right? And they were saying that the state was against them. The senator McCain was against them. Like, the whole government was against UFC. They said it was cockfighting, human cockfighting, right?
Right. I remember all that.
So they went against the government, and they actually prevailed. And you remember the last time the New York State Athletic Commission did not give UFC a license for a long time.
Years.
They said it would never happen. It would never happen. What happened? Conor McGregor headlined in the Madison Square Garden. What am I saying? I feel like we have the same DNA. UFC came from nothing. It grew, went against all the pressure, and it finally won, and it became a $1 billion world fastest growing sport phenomenon.
Right.
And I feel like crypto is going to have the same fate. Yes, we're up against the big boys, but at the end of the day, cryptocurrency will be victorious like UFC is. And that's what we joined.
It's funny that you say that, because when I first got into MMA, I did my first, so I was a part of the G-Force fight team back in 2005 into 2006, and I did my first MMA fight show as a promoter in 2006. Back when it was still new, like, people still really didn't know what the hell it was or what to do about it. There was very little, if any, regulation. There was just nothing. And I remember when I was I booked my first event at the Northern Kentucky Convention Center, and they were freaking out. At first, they just thought it was an event, like a convention. And I'm like, no, we're going to have people fighting in a cage with pretty girls walking around holding signs. And the contracts and everything had already been done, and there was nothing they could really do about it. And because they were like, wow, they were trying to figure out ways to make it really difficult for me to have this event. They didn't want me to have ring girls. They were trying to they were like crazy. And I ended up selling out like 3,000 people there, and it went off without a hitch. And I turned them into believers. They're like, you can come back anytime you want. The point of that story is, I agree with you in the sense that cryptocurrency is still one of those things that so few still understand. But once we get to that point where people have been able to get involved and be converted, once they get it, then it'll be something that I think is just going to continue to grow, exponentially over the next year, 2 years to 5 years.
So
it's yeah, go ahead, Adam.
So well, I'm going to talk about you, so it's cool. So Johnny said something where he said, nobody knows.
You're really quiet again, just so you know, Adam.
Nobody knows these proponents to cryptocurrency, but they all know who John Jones and Conor McGregor is. They kind of put that into another example, one that's staring me right in the face. I look at Ronis Gracie, and today I have a sore tooth, so I try to go to the dentist, and no dentist is open on the holidays, so I still have a sore tooth. But on the way there, I passed 3 dojos that said that they teach Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So on the way there, I passed 3 establishments that had Gracie's name on it. Ronis, your family's name on it. This is big. Like this, having the exposure to MMA community, it transcends all verticals, whether you're in tech or finance, whether you speak English or Russian or Spanish, it doesn't know where you are. MMA is everywhere. and now that Litecoin is a part of it, it's going to have an extreme reach.
Yeah, we just lost John. I'm sure he'll pop back in. It seems like there's some confusion in terms of what is paid advertising and what is a partnership. And so, you know, I figured maybe I'll try and help explain. Just because something is paid advertising doesn't necessarily mean that it is not also a partnership. There are so many different ways of structuring an ad-based relationship that is mutually beneficial outside of the general scope of the ad placement. Now, my background is marketing. It's stuff I've done. I've done national marketing all the way down to local flyers. So, you know, but there are a million ways of slicing that cake. Just because Litecoin paid for the sponsorship doesn't mean it can't also be considered a partnership based off of what other, you know, ancillary benefits are, you know, brought into the picture. And, you know, there's a whole lot to it. So I don't want people fudding about this being like a paid ad for the UFC because, and even if it were, who gives a shit, quite frankly, because the UFC is very particular about their sponsorship relationships. They don't just let anybody with a check buy spots on the mat or any of that. I know Rich Franklin. I know his manager. Dude, all this stuff, like with the video games, with the sponsorship, everything, it's a process, man. Like, this is no like small deal that they actually, just because they showed up with a check didn't guarantee them a spot, because that, I mean, I don't think people realize what a big deal this actually is.
We actually had to send all the contracts to our lawyer. Their lawyer went back and forth to get this thing to happen. So let me, you know, a lot of people are talking, right? I actually challenged the Bitcoin maximalists on Twitter today. See, all these people that are talking, they have no idea what they're talking about, because all they're doing is reading books and listening to YouTube videos and regurgitating information that they heard from another maximalist that heard from another maximalist.
Right.
So let me tell you why this is going to work. We have Alliant Payment in Litecoin Foundation. We have a product, okay, that any business can take. It's a login product that if they don't like Litecoin, they can accept Litecoin, and it exchanges into US dollar at the point of sale for 0.98%, which saves the business 2 to 2.5% versus a credit card, and there's zero chargeback. All right. And I just recently did a meeting with Bob Moore Auto Group. They own 14 dealerships in Oklahoma. Listen to me, people, when I tell you, I've been driving 10,000 miles, 44 days on the road, visiting business to push for adoption. I'm telling you from experience and not regurgitating information. I went to Bob Moore Auto Group, 14 dealerships, and right now we're almost closing that deal as well. Why? Because we actually gave them a product where every question that they asked me, I had an answer for. They said, we don't like the volatility. Sir, there is zero volatility because it exchanges in USD at the point of sale. Every question that they came at me, I came at them with an answer that blew their mind. So let me ask you something. This UFC deal, do you not think that this could grow into fighters being paid in Litecoin or even tickets being bought in Litecoin? Do you know why it is possible? Because we're 2-3 steps ahead of everyone, because you know why? We actually have people on the ground knocking on doors and actually being rejected and coming up with solutions to overcome these obstacles, right? So now we have this product. You don't need a machine. You don't need a contract. This is a login on a computer to take Litecoin as payment, which converts it into USD. Now, Ben Askren, do you guys know Ben Askren is now a very good friend of mine, which Adam Charles is the one that told me that he follows Charlie Lee on Twitter. So I hunted him down, and I made him become my friend, and I actually went to go visit him. Ben Askren is a libertarian-leaning, smart, like brilliant guy. You talk to him for like 10 minutes. You're like, okay, this dude ain't no jock. He knows what he's talking about. And we didn't pay him 1 cent. But you know what he's doing for us? Because he believes in Litecoin, he believes in crypto. He's literally going to go on interviews and ask Dana White that he wants to be paid in Litecoin.
Oh, that's interesting.
Listen, what people don't understand is this. We under-promise, over-deliver. This is nothing. 2019, this UFC 1 event, it's just a little taste of what we have in store for the people in the crypto world.
Trust me more.
You'll see some major events happening in 2019. And look at me, everyone. All you haters and doubters out there. When it's all said and done, this revolution will have been done by normal people on the ground with boots on the ground, sweating, building that sweat equity, and going out and finding a solution with real world people with real world problems. Anyone can sit behind the computer and say, well, Bitcoin blockchain is the only immutable blockchain out there in every. Look, I listened to Anton about 1,000 hours. We can have the same conversation if I wanted to. But I promise you one thing, just like on Twitter, I made a challenge to every Bitcoin maximalist. Let's go out to a business. I'll take my boy Johnny Litecoin. You bring 12 of your best maximalists, and let me see if you can make adoption happen at any business with your little debating style.
You know what I want to see?
With your big word.
I want to see you guys at Litecoin come up with a solid, my eyes are blowing up. I want to see you guys come up with a way to introduce a retirement solution for fighters on the blockchain.
That's interesting.
Because it's something that I've been thinking about for a long time, and there are so many ways that you can utilize the blockchain to not only incentivize but protect fighters with a future-proof system for retirement. Because if you break down the numbers, there are so many ways of doing it. You've got crypto kitties. Why is there not something like that for these fighters? You know, their popularity goes up. People are trading these cards. A percentage of the revenue generated from these cards goes into a retirement account, you know, that's a smart contract on the blockchain that unlocks on the fighter's, you know, whatever birthday, you know, however old he needs to be. There are so many ways of being able to do something like that. And I'm still waiting for someone to do it. And I feel like you just volunteered yourself.
Crow, do you know why that's possible with us? In any sector, in any business, right? You need to get in the door.
Right.
All right.
You're in it.
You need to get in the door and you need to legitimize yourself and you need to let them know how valuable you are. Do you guys know right now, after Charlie Lee tweeted yesterday, we have a 500,000 impressions just on his tweet? Like, look, Charlie has 96% real followers on Twitter. Out of 801,000 followers that he have, 96% is real followers. You know how I got in the door with the Bob Moore Auto Group? True story. I talked to the GM, which is my friend Charles Davis, right? I said, hey, right, this wasn't even planned. I said, before I go, let me shoot a quick video. And I shot a ghetto 2-minute video on my phone. I posted it. You know what I did 3 days later when I went into that meeting with the VP of Finance? I showed him on the slideshow of that video that got 300,000 impressions, 30,000 views. And you know what I told him? I said, look, I answered all your questions, but let me tell you something. I heard that you spent thousands of dollars opening up a Facebook page and you only have 1,000 friends. What I was able to achieve with the Litecoin family and Charlie Lee and the Litecoin Foundation in 3 days, it blows that out of the water. And I said, sir, look at me. Forget all this volatility talk. All that is free for you, sir. I don't make a dime off of this. We can market your place like no one else can because we have the most proactive, passionate community in crypto space right now. We have 1 million, all of us collectively, 1 million people that can promote your business and we have a voice bigger than any other voice out there. You know what he said? He says, you know what? Forget everything else. I'm going to the next meeting with you on your side so the owners can't say no. You know what happened? I didn't tell them how great LTC, people are going to spend LTC to buy your cars. I came at an angle to where I can make your business 300,000 impressions in 36 hours. That's what we have as a community. And for them, for a car dealership, marketing is the biggest thing that they spend money on.
Right. Well, look, I mean, it's obvious that the Litecoin community is substantial. I mean, there's no question about that. Because I expect the community to send like 500,000 views to this video by tomorrow. And if it doesn't, I'll know everything you say is garbage.
Guys. I got to take this back to what Crow said, because you said something that is I'm very passionate about. Something that like keeps me up at night.
Rogaine.
Everyone here has some.
I'm kidding. I love you, Adam. I love you, Adam.
Well, all right, let me go again.
I love you, man.
Person here has some type of MMA background to him. Johnny Kim, you fought in King of the Cage. Jason, you ran your own promotion in Midwestern America. You even fought in a cage once. Ronis, you're from the most famous martial arts family in the world. I was a struggling MMA fighter for 4 years. My biggest accomplishment is fighting Drakkar Close. Lost by armbar. I'll get him in a rematch. Anyhow, I've seen lots of fighters grow old, and that's like the worst thing you can do as a fighter. I mean, Chuck Liddell just fought Tito Ortiz at the age of 48, got knocked out. And a lot of my friends that I've grown up with, my idols, I see them like in their 40s still trying to fight and just taking brain damage and just, it's not good. So a retirement plan is something that we need. I always thought that if you're in the UFC, if you make it to maybe past 5 years and 20 fights, you should get a 401k.
I agree. I feel like if you make it to the UFC period, you're thinking about of all the fighters out there on a global scale, once you've made it to a UFC fight card, I don't care if it's an undercard, televised, whatever. If you've made it to a UFC contract, you should have a retirement plan in place in some fashion. And let's face the facts. You have guys that come into the UFC all the time. They fight once, they lose, maybe they get another opportunity. Once you've lost 3 times, you're pretty much cut. But, so it's difficult for them to say, well, you may fight for us 3 times. How are we expected to give you a retirement career or a retirement package or something like that? But the thing of it is I believe that the UFC should be used as a vehicle so that when these guys do get cut and they go and they fight on at other promotions, that what has been established for them through the UFC follows them, and it can continue to help their career. The UFC, whether it's an undercard fight or not, is in a position to profit substantially from these filler fights, because some of these filler fights turn out to be huge game changers for an entire event. You know what I mean?
They go viral.
Exactly. And it's a huge deal for the UFC. So that's why I talk about like trading cards. I talk about I would sit down with Charlie or any of these guys and help. I have all kinds of stuff. I had a whole mini business plan written up on how to pull this off, because I was thinking about getting back into the fight game, because I kind of missed it. I thought, well, if I did this, how can I do something to help fighters establish some sort of retirement plan for themselves? And, and then I got in a mortgage.
If you thought about this a lot and you had your whole business plan, I want you to tell me what you think of my idea. So this
Sure.
is what goes to my head while I'm trying to fall asleep. Did I set myself up for that again? Damn it. Anyhow, so I had friends that fought in UFC in 2005. I had guys I wrestled in college with, like Jesse Forbes, that got paid $3,000. Drew Fickett got paid $3,000. That's it.
Right.
But if there was some type of currency they get paid in, so let's say they got paid in like $3,000 UFC token. Well, that was in 2005. In 2018, that token would be worth a whole lot more. Like Johnny Kim said, it just sold for $4 billion in 2016. So if there was some type of flexible currency, a flexible payment method that could rise in value as the UFC grows, that's the retirement plan right there. Ronis, you're deeper into the mixed martial arts and into the whole culture than anyone else here. You've probably seen all your family and friends, fight throughout the years, grow old, retired, come out of retirement, grow again. You probably have more affected by this than anyone else. What is your opinion?
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I've witnessed my whole life growing up. I've witnessed not just people in my family. I've seen, friends and, everyone that was getting into MMA in the very first couple of years. You basically pay to fight, like you just said, right? You go out there and you train for, let's say, 9 months. You need to pay a bunch of trainers, like boxing, to do wrestling, jiu-jitsu. So you have a high cost if you think about not just time, but paying all of these different instructors, and even if they are training you for free, they're gonna nothing's for free. So if they may be training you for free, but they're gonna ask you a percentage of what you're gonna be making, and these guys go and make $3,000. So it's very common that every fighter for the first couple of years in his career, he's actually investing, right? He's spending a lot more than what he's making. So I agree. I think that, it's unfortunate that, it's a very tough industry, especially in the very beginning. If you do make big, then you can make a lot of money, but it's a very tiny percentage of fighters that actually make, a reasonable amount of money to make a living out of this. So since we're talking about ideas,
you have to be in the top 10 of that weight class to make any real money.
Exactly. So if you look at the whole industry, right, probably 98% of the fighters actually lose money.
Or broke.
They don't actually.
They go, they train their asses off. If they're able to get sponsored for a camp, they go, they fight, they get all fucked up if the fight wasn't quick. And then they got to go, they've got medical bills and other things. And then they got to go back to selling, pancakes at Waffle House or whatever. I mean, it's like, because a lot of these guys, fighting is their career. They're not, the majority of these guys are not, top level executives making six figures. You know what I mean? I mean, let's just be real about it. Some of them are entrepreneurial and it's not that they're not capable, but they don't have the time. It's like, as a fighter, you have to pick. Do you want to put all of your time training or working? And that's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's true. And that's why most fighters have an academy, right? Not most fighters, but a lot of them, they actually, they have basically a side business, which is their own academy, or they teach private classes here and there. So it's tough. Anything I think that innovative that can be done using cryptocurrency or anything else, but I think crypto has a lot of features that can add a lot of innovation to help those fighters. For example, one thing, as you guys were talking about retirement plan and these ideas, one thing that came to my mind was also, betting, like DraftKings, people bet on MMA. If there was more, I think with crypto we can create a easily transparent way of betting. And maybe whatever fighter we're betting, if he happens to win or something, he gets a percentage of, the profits or the revenue. That could be an interesting way to generate some extra revenue for the fighters. And also, it creates an incentive for him to do a good performance and win, right? So maybe only the winner or the winner gets a higher percentage. So yeah, and through blockchain crypto, we can cut the middleman, make it like a transparent, maybe completely decentralized marketplace for this betting, or even centralized. But with the goal of helping the fighter and creating incentive for him to do a good performance.
Well, when you're talking about something like that, that's something that would normally be regulated, because the proponents of that idea would be like, well, what if he bets on himself? What if he throws the fight? And I mean, Kim knows, Crow knows, we don't throw fights. That's not what we do. It's in our heart.
How much are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say, it kind of depends on the man, his situation, and the offer.
I'm kidding.
I don't believe MMA fighters throw fights. I believe promoters might throw fights. No offense.
True. But it's true.
How would a promoter throw a fight? What do you mean?
By bribing judges, by bribing the ref. You know.
No, the refs are controlled by the commission. So are the judges.
Hey, look, man. When I was doing my career, between 2012 to 2015, I lived in my car, and I would train for 16 hours a day, sleep in my car, go train again, just to make $500 or less on a fight. So with that type of drive, it's almost impossible for me to even fathom someone throwing a fight.
Right.
It's kind of my mindset. But when you take concept like that and you bring it to the blockchain, you decentralize it, you keep those lawmakers out of that. Anyone that would have a say about, this goes against athletes' benefit, it's out of their hands now. It's harder for them to regulate. So, that's the great thing about blockchain. It allows for these out of the box ideas.
Here's the thing. There's one big problem in MMA. Okay, and as a fight promoter, I saw this every day. That is the misconception that a fighter's job is done once he's trained and showed up to fight. And the nature of fight promotion is what? A fight that's promoted. And a fighter's responsibility does not stop at the gym. It does not stop at just showing up for the fight. And a lot of fighters do not seem to get that. Maybe it's different now. It's been 8 years, I guess. I don't even know how long it's been. But, a lot of guys, they don't want to be promoted. They don't want to self-promote. They don't want to get out there, pound the pavement, spreading the word, selling tickets, marketing themselves.
Selling tickets. Oh, I hate that.
Everybody says that. But you know what? If you look at, especially in the earlier days of the UFC, a lot of those guys that got UFC contracts were selling shit tons of tickets at King of the Cage. And I looked into it. I talked to a lot of people. Like Rampage Jackson, he was one of the top ticket sellers at King of the Cage. Like personal ticket sales.
What do you mean by this? Your viewers are probably lost here. So when an MMA fighter on a regional scene, like someone who's fighting for pro, wants to make some money, they might be getting maybe $100, $500. They sell tickets, and they get a percentage of the tickets they sell. I used to hate that.
I was one of the best paying promoters in the region, just so you know. But I would also give fighters the opportunity to sell tickets, and they would make $5 for every ticket that they sold. So, they would say, I need 70 tickets. I'd give them the tickets, and then, the week before their fight, they would turn in all their ticket money. Less $5 for every ticket that they sold. The point I'm making is that there's so much there. While some guys, they want to train, they want to show up, they want to fight and be done with it. I feel that it's the guys who want to do that extra that should be rewarded in more ways than one, because those are the guys that are serious about their careers. I have some local guys, Mojo Horn, Roger Bulling. I mean, the guys that were out there cranking it out, they're working full-time, training full-time, and marketing themselves, selling tickets, generating money for themselves and me as a promoter. Those are the guys that I could afford to bring in, the name guys that would get cut from UFC but still had a name. I would fly these guys in from Vegas or wherever they were from to fight my guys. And it worked out well, and it helped build their careers and their notoriety. So, I mean, I guess in a way, I guess what I'm trying to say is, there are a lot of guys out there who are willing to do whatever it's going to take. But I feel that if there were more opportunities for fighters to benefit financially from their self-promotion outside of just ticket sales in the promoter's hands, there would be a lot more fighters out there aggressively marketing themselves.
Okay, so Crow, let me stop you right there, because you said everything that I wanted to say as far as Litecoin and crypto adoption is concerned. All right, so everybody knows that UFC, was bought for $4.5 million, and who got praised for it? It was the top people, right?
Right.
But do you know how that UFC machine became such a big product? It's because people are actually going out selling tickets back in the day to make UFC events successful. So what am I trying to say? It's the same exact time that we are living in crypto.
Right.
People who are behind the computer, people who are doing trading and just arguing on the internet, they have no idea. once you go out into the streets, you will know one thing. Bitcoin is not usable. I'm sorry. That's the truth. You go into a coffee shop and you try to get them to adopt Bitcoin, and you give them a Bitcoin on a wallet, and it takes 10 minutes. There's no way, unless the Lightning Network becomes a big thing, that it's not usable right now. But Litecoin is. Litecoin, within 3 seconds, it gets broadcasted onto their phone, and it takes 2.5 minutes to settle. That's fast enough. After 1-2 confirmation, they can leave, right? So I just believe that we're in the place where we're very early, guys. Don't let anyone fool you. I've been out in 30 different states, and most places I go to, you couldn't give away Litecoin or Bitcoin. They're like, no, I don't want it. I don't want it. All you have to do is download a wallet. I give you a free Litecoin, free Bitcoin. No, I don't want it. I don't want it. See, what people fail to realize is that we're in the very early stages where people are popping their trunk and selling UFC ticket back in those days, right? And I'm one of those people that says, you know what? I'm tired of sitting behind a computer and arguing over which blockchain is better. And I'm going to go out and find out for myself what the reality of crypto is. And you know what? Honestly, I was very, very depressed because I sold my house and I sold my business and I went out. I took my pickup truck and I went out, right? And I thought when I went out, people were going to embrace me. Oh, Bitcoin, Litecoin. Bro, I'm telling you, we are so early and everybody has this huge ideas, but nobody's willing to put in the legwork. Just like when you were a promoter, Crow, you know, you may have enjoyed it, but you know how hard that work was?
Oh, I do
as
know.
A regional promoter, right? But who's willing to put in that time to be a promoter? Because the chance of you succeeding as a regional promoter is slim to none, right? Unless you catch a big break.
You never know from show to show whether you're making money or losing money.
Exactly.
So
I'm not getting paid to go out to push for adoption. Litecoin Foundation pays me zero money to do this. I spent over $30,000 in my own money in 4 months to push for adoption. Now, let me ask everyone else, who's willing to put their money where their mouth is when their faith is? I am. You know what I mean? And what I learned with my own money, spending my own money, being on the streets, I learned that Bitcoin is not ready to be adopted for regular businesses. I'm sorry, but Litecoin is.
I almost feel like that's kind of a moot point, though, at this point. I don't think anybody's really looking at Bitcoin as... I think Bitcoin is crypto in the eyes of the newcomer, right? So it's not necessarily... I don't think Bitcoin is the... Bitcoin accepted here. I don't think we're really going to start seeing a lot of that soon. I think it's kind of changed.
So that's why
thing.
Charlie Lee created Litecoin to complement Bitcoin. Litecoin can do whatever the Bitcoin can't do right now until the Lightning Network becomes, usable. So we're actually helping Bitcoin.
What were you trying to say? I know Ronis had something to say.
No, yeah, I actually have a question. So talking about the use of cryptocurrencies in commerce. So you mentioned, I 100% agree that Bitcoin is completely unusable in commerce. And then I think this is becoming a consensus where everyone sees Bitcoin as more like a store of value, right? More like the new digital gold.
Until the Lightning Network.
Yes, until the Lightning Network, I agree. So, but now talking about Litecoin, even like 2.5 minutes, still like a relatively long time if you're gonna buy like a coffee or something, right? So can you tell me a little bit about, when in these conversations with these merchants, what do you tell them? Like, do they have to always wait 2.5 minutes? Or
no, absolutely not. So first thing I do is I say, hey, can you download Loaf Wallet for me so I can send you some free Litecoins? The only reason I'm doing that is because I learned from my mistakes. You can't try to convince people to take crypto. You got to allow them to experience crypto. I used to have 9 cell phone stores. And when Apple came to us, they said the only way that you can sell Apple iPhone is to have 3 live demos. because we believe if you touch it, feel it, experience an iPhone, 85% of the people will buy it. So I changed my ways. I go to a business and I say, hey, can you download Loaf Wallet? I would like to give you free Litecoin. They download Loaf Wallet and we're talking while they're downloading it. And then I actually send them a Litecoin. But within 3 seconds, and all this video is up on my YouTube channel, within 2.53 seconds, the Litecoin hits their wallet, okay? And then it takes 2.5 minutes to fully be able to go through all confirmations to be onto their wallet. But in a coffee, you can leave after 1-2 exchange. We're talking about a $2 coffee, right? $5 coffee.
Like $4.50. I was about to say, I want to go where you go.
It will hit their wallet within 2 to 3 seconds, right? And then the customer within 30 seconds can leave.
They're not waiting for that 30th confirmation.
No, they're not waiting for that 2.5 minutes.
I get it.
Bitcoin, for it to broadcast onto the network, it just, that even takes too long.
Right.
You know what I mean? So what happens is I allow them to experience the transaction and they start asking me questions like, what just happened? I said, we just bypassed the bank. What do you mean? It's called the blockchain. What's the blockchain? So now the conversation isn't about me trying to convince them. Their curiosity is asking me all these questions. So before I do a full system for them to take crypto, I set them up with just a Loaf Wallet where they can see how much traffic they get by accepting crypto.
Is that wallet
and then
pinchable?
They can move to step 2. What?
Is that wallet, is it pinchable?
What do you mean pinchable?
If I feel like I just need to pinch a loaf? So
I was like, man, he got me. I don't have an answer.
You were so jazzed up for a minute. I feel I'd just be a little silly. So why is it Litecoin at Chainwise this year? That's what I want to know. Why has somebody from Litecoin called me about Chainwise?
Because nobody from Chainwise called me.
Oh, I hope all the people that are in charge of my booths are going to see this. I'm going to let them know. They're all slacking.
Everybody be quiet. I'm expecting a call from a 7-foot giant.
So I'm actually, I honestly, and I hate to say this, but I don't hold any Litecoin yet. But I will say that this whole thing with the UFC it actually has me a bit more interested, because with my background, I do know what it takes to become a sponsor of the UFC. That really is no small task. And so for me, that tells me that there's some serious longevity in Litecoin, which for a while, and I mean, just to be real honest, I never really looked into Litecoin much prior to recently, because all I ever really heard about Litecoin was, it was at a high. Charlie Lee sold everything he had in Litecoin. And that was the last I really heard of it. I still don't know. Did he buy it all back on a low?
Absolutely.
I would have. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm just curious, like, does he still hold it? Like, what is his involvement from here? That's what I don't know.
So here's the last time I will speak about this, about Charlie Lee selling all-time high.
Last time.
All right, so you know how when you meet people after 3 months, their real character starts to show?
Huh?
If they're a cheater, after 3 months, it'll slowly come out. 6 months, it'll come out. 1 year later, okay, he's not who he says he was. Well, I've been with Charlie about a year now. He's one of the most ethical person I've ever met. I'm pretty ethical and transparent, and I try to be as honest as possible. He puts me to shame. So the reason he sold was this. I
don't think there's anything wrong with him selling it. Don't get me wrong about that. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong, because there was no pre-mine. But he said this. He said, John, whenever I was holding Litecoin, I really had a battle in my conscience whenever I tweeted something, whenever I did something. Am I doing this to affect the price so that it would affect me financially in a good way? Or am I just really tweeting about this because I'm just being, unbiased, right? But he said it came a point where he really had a battle within his heart to really figure out anything he was saying was really genuine or was it to benefit him, right? Because he was holding coins, a lot of coins in Litecoin. The reason he decided to sell was to really be able to work full-time on Litecoin and to be able to say whatever he wants about Litecoin without having that conscience biting at him every day, right? And you know what? He looked me in my eyes, and that is the reason he told me. And I really believe that was the conflict of interest. So now he's guys, you think I work hard? Charlie Lee is working so hard behind the scenes, and he has nothing to gain from Litecoin financially anymore. And I put this on everything that I love. Charlie will never buy back in because it will go against every ounce of his ethics. That the reason that he sold from the anyway, from the top. So many people talk a lot of crap, but when you eat with a person, when you look at a person's eyes and when you see their character, the way they carry themselves, this person is genuine. And I can promise you right now, I've worked for many, many, many brilliant leaders, karate, taekwondo, Muay Thai. I mean, great people. I've never met anyone ethical and fair as Charlie Lee. Therefore, I will go to my grave defending Charlie, and the reason why he sold was because it was for ethical reasons.
And I didn't bring that up to, like I'm trying to FUD him or Litecoin at all.
No, of course not.
That was just all I had heard, and I thought, I wonder, as a creator of something. And then I'm like, well, it makes sense. Back then, it didn't make as much sense because I'm like, why would he sell it all? And then everything just kind of started going down. And I'm like, okay, well, that makes sense to me. Like if I created a blockchain, what I hold, knowing, like, I don't know what I would do, but what you just explained, that makes a lot of sense. Like, I don't know Charlie at all. I met him once very, very briefly. I think he thought I was going to mug him in Vegas because my giant ogre ass just walked up to him and shook his hand and like, hey, I'm hanging out with your bodyguard over there. And, and he just looked at me like, okay, you big jackass. Like, and that was it. So,
I'm going to tell you how it looked like. Okay. This was Charlie.
That was it.
And this was Crow, and Charlie was like, "Who the hell are you, dude?"
Yeah, like he's just like, "I hope you don't eat me." Is pretty much so? But yeah, I mean, he seemed like a nice enough guy, but I never really talked to him, and so I mean, look, man, that all makes sense to me, and it really doesn't matter to me what reason he sold it. I mean, regardless, it was a good freaking move. So whether he's just sharp as a tack and knew what was coming, or he had this internal struggle. Either way you slice it, to me, it was a smart business decision.
Hey, Johnny, I don't know if this is relevant or not, but you talked about how hardworking Charlie is and how much integrity he has. Charlie Lee was a wrestler. That was his sport. He is a wrestler.
Yeah, he was a wrestler. He wrestled in high school. He's actually, hey, Mr. Gracie, he's actually training jiu-jitsu right now.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah. I actually heard it going.
I know where this is going. So you're trying to set up a match between Charlie Lee and Ben Askren for like once you're done kicking Ben Askren's ass, you can then hop on and go toe to toe with Ronis. This is where you're getting at? All right.
I could be the referee of the match. That's interesting. I heard from, by the way, just out of curiosity, I don't know if you guys heard this, but I heard somewhere that also Vitalik was also doing jiu-jitsu. Have you guys heard this or no?
Man, Vitalik needs to stay away. I mean, honest to God.
No, it would be good for him. Like, he needs to learn how to defend himself.
One arm bar and his arm is cracked in 4 different locations. I don't think I've ever seen a walking human being that skinny. Like, no offense to him, he's brilliant, but I think all of the fat and meat in his entire body is fueling his brain. That's it. Outside of that, the guy, he needs a cheeseburger. That's all I'm really saying.
Joe Rogan always goes on a tire ad about people who have pencil necks. And if your neck is small, it means you can't fight because you can't take a punch.
You know why? I mean, that's true, technically, like, because it's the muscles in your neck that stop your brain from jerking all over the place and slamming your brain inside or your head. So,
hey, also, you talking about Joe Rogan? Just remember 2019. Joe Rogan, remember that name, and Charlie Lee, okay? Remember it.
That's right. So you're trying to get on Joe Rogan experience, you and Charlie Lee, right?
Yeah, he should totally go now.
Hey,
yes.
He makes total sense.
I'm making some good progress. So look,
Dude,
whenever
just
I
take
said
a bag of weed
UFC,
and he'll let you in.
people didn't believe me.
Just show him this clip about us talking about the pencil necks. Like he goes on this rant at least once a month.
Well, actually, Ben Askren wanted to be on this show, Crow.
Yeah.
He was actually looking at his schedule, and then Charles messaged me and said we're gonna go do it today. But he said he wanted to do your show. So
Yeah, sure.
Ben Askren called Joe Rogan. Actually, texted him. He sent me the picture, and Joe Rogan said, "Okay, I'm gonna keep my eyes on him right now." The blockchain thing right now, we just had a guest that talked about that. So right now we need to move on. But
I messaged him like months ago about it too. It's like, hey man, I'll even smoke weed with you, dude. Like, I love Joe Rogan, so I would go on there and shoot the shit. Him and Eddie Bravo, man. I'll toke it up with those dudes. I mean, that would be a riot. Talk about blockchain, conspiracy theories. I'd get lost in that for 6 months. Don't let me go over there.
We're talking about people who have a chance to go on Joe Rogan. First of all, Ronis is number one. He's a Gracie. Two, we got
I have no chance. Total pipe dream.
3, I'm going to choose me over you just because you're scary. So I think you're down on the bottom of that. But hey, Johnny.
But you know, Charlie Lee has 800,000 followers. So that's a good reason for Joe Rogan to even consider it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he knows he has people that'll watch him. So.
And I'm sure I haven't heard Joe Rogan say anything publicly, but I would just guess, just by the way he is, guess that he actually might like cryptocurrencies in general. And I'm sure he knows about Bitcoin, about Litecoin.
Oh, of course.
I'm sure he does. I've seen him and talk about it a little bit here and there with other people on the show. I watch his YouTube stuff too.
He had Andreas Antonopoulos 4 times, the Bitcoin evangelist.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. I remember. I actually watched that show. It was really good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Charlie will be on the. Hey,
I was gonna say, I don't know if Charlie Lee might actually be more kind of like popular on the internet than Andreas.
Yeah,
or
of course. Did you guys know 2 facts I want to tell you before I stop talking? Number 1, when Charlie was at CoinBase, there was 4 people. Now it's 500 plus, with its valuation is $8.6 billion. All right. I think Charlie knows what he's doing. And number 2, what is the most reliable blockchain in the whole wide world? And this is not an opinion.
Cardano.
It's Litecoin. Let me tell you why. Litecoin for 7+ years had 0 downtime. Never had a pause, never had a hiccup. It ran 100% without a downtime for 7 years straight. Is the most reliable blockchain. Even Bitcoin had a hiccup and had to start 2 blocks back. It paused. So Litecoin is literally the most reliable. It's true. The Litecoin is literally the most reliable blockchain in cryptocurrency. 7 years running.
What makes it so reliable?
Any downtime. Because it complements Bitcoin. Bitcoin is on SHA-256. We're on script algorithm. So we don't compete for miners. So when it comes to hash rate of script, Litecoin is the king of script. No one can come close to the hash power of Litecoin.
But that's a script. That's still processor, like CPU based, right? Like you're not mining that with GPU rigs.
So we're never competing against Bitcoin miners. And that's where Bitcoin Cash messed up. They try to compete with Bitcoin and try to compete with the miners. But in every aspect, Charlie Lee designed Litecoin to complement Bitcoin and never compete against it. That's why the Bitcoin maximalists are dumb, because we're actually helping Bitcoin. Do you know why? This is another really important. Any government, if they had a couple $1 billion, they can overtake Bitcoin, 51% attack it. But do you know why they don't? Because it's like the king with 7 sons. They know that if they spend all that money taking over the Bitcoin network, Litecoin will be there. So they know it stops them from trying because there's other cryptocurrency that's ready to take that place.
Right.
Even though it's not the best, it's there. Therefore, Litecoin and other good cryptocurrency actually protects Bitcoin from attacks from governments with a lot of money.
That's a really good
And
perspective because I'd never thought of that either. I'm really glad to have you on here, John. You've been pretty good.
John, I've been trying to ask this question for a while now. First of all, I got better combos than you. Anyhow, John, after UFC 232, after John Jones and Gustafsson make each other bleed all over the Litecoin logo, how high do you expect Litecoin to rise?
So here's the thing. We don't care about price. And you think I'm kidding. Charlie does not care about price. So here's the thing. It could have a bump, right? But here's the thing. Do you know why we push so hard for adoption? Because price has to follow adoption sooner or later. But news, these little news, it moves the price back and forth, and it's all for traders. But at the end of the day, you want real price increase, it's whoever does the adoption, and the price will have to catch up to it. So I don't ever tell people to buy Litecoin anymore, because even if you bought 10,000 right now, Crow, you're not going to move the price.
You want to bet?
I promise you, you will not move the price, bro.
If I did a Coins I Love video on Litecoin, I guarantee you I'll move that a little bit.
Maybe 50 cents.
But I would just never do that unless I genuinely bought into it and like expected to hold it, and I was prepared to explain all the reasons why. But every time I do one of those, man, the charts move for a day.
But Crow, what I'm saying is the market is so manipulated that it doesn't really matter. It's not dependent.
Long term, it doesn't matter, right? Yeah, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
It's true.
Yeah.
So what this sponsorship means? Are we going to see Litecoin in the next events, upcoming events? For how many events? Can you share more details on this?
So right now, what I can share is that it's for the 232 event, but we believe they like us. They really wanted us, and we really wanted them. And we believe there's going to be a very good relationship going forward to 2019. And also, we love Ben Askren because we didn't pay him, but he literally just wanted to help us out. You know, and I have a video on my Twitter page where he's like, it's a 2-minute video of him like telling people, hey, man, this is why you need Litecoin. You know, the banks take all these fees. So he's a literal evangelist, you know. So we want to help him with his UFC career, too. I don't know how we're going to do that. But me personally, I really believe Ben Askren is going to be champion 2019 because, I mean,
pound for pound,
he's suffocating. Yeah,
he's welter, isn't he?
Yeah, welter.
They're going to create a new weight class for him, Pro. So they're going to come up with the 165-pound weight class. This is the rumor, but they're going to.
When I talked to him, he said he'll never fight Tyron. They said they agreed that they would never fight each other. So if they don't have a,
which means it's going to happen.
Division, if they don't come up with the 165-pound division, Tyron may move up to 180. But he said if Tyron stays at 170, that he'll never be champion because he will not fight him.
Interesting. I assume they're good friends.
They're really good friends.
But the UFC just loves pitting brothers, best friends.
Well, yo, Johnny, you have another supporter you didn't talk about. A guy by the name of Daniel Cormier. Am I right?
Well, I love Daniel, man. He's my dude. He's one of the few fighters out there I've not met, but I love him.
Dude, he's like the most regular, nice, just like average guy. I was Ben picked me up after a little session with the kids in his Tesla X, and we were driving, and I heard his voice in the front seat. I didn't know who it was. And this whole time it was Daniel Cormier in the front seat, and we're all just like chilling together and you know going. And Daniel Cormier, man, he's the real deal too. He doesn't play, and I don't know. I don't know how I got into this space like this deep, but come Saturday, me, Charlie, and 2 other people from the Litecoin Foundation, we're gonna have a VIP seat, and then we're gonna have the Litecoin gear on, and then I think Ben's gonna wear the Litecoin shirt too, and
I'm gonna have to get this damn pay-per-view now.
You have to get the pay-per-view, and
I never get the pay-per-views. I see it on my PlayStation all the time, and I'm like, I did get the McGregor one. I'm gonna have to get this one. I wasn't even sure I was gonna go somewhere and watch it, but I will, to support Litecoin and to support this marriage, I will order the pay-per-view and probably invite a bunch of friends over to watch it. That's exactly what I'll do. I'll do that tonight. I'll post on my Facebook.
Johnny, where's my ticket? You said you don't know how you got this deep. I remember how you got this deep. I told you Ben Askren was following Charlie Lee on Twitter.
Oh, that's right. Adam Charles was the man.
Dude, Adam is the plug. For Adam is the plug. My barber tells me this all the time. Like, I'm learning all this lingo, but Adam is the plug. He gets everybody connected. He's like the nucleus of so much.
I just found out another connection that we might also have here. So you have Ben Askren as your supporter, and now you have Daniel Cormier as your supporter. Both of those guys were teammates on the 2008 Olympic freestyle wrestling team.
Yeah, they're good friends.
The current flyweight champion, Henry Cejudo, who I went to high school with.
Oh,
You're involved as well. Let's get you're involved. And not only will you have probably 3 UFC champions, you'll have 3 American heroes, Olympians. That's more.
So I'm actually working on Tyron Woodley and Max Holloway too. I know a guy that knows them very well, so I'm working on that. But here's the thing: you guys should come to the Litecoin Summit next year. It's gonna be star-studded. It's gonna be a panel of like a lot of professional stars.
All you need is me, brother. My big fat ass shows up, man. Everybody will come.
Hey, Crow,
you're forgetting
how about this?
Panels, man. I made all the influencer panels. Of course, we'll be there.
Hey, Kroll and Adam, I promise you one thing. Whether you think, and I promise you this, whether you think you will or not, you too will be at the Litecoin Summit. I guarantee it. I cannot tell you the reason why, but I promise you, you will be there.
That's a big guarantee, man. You got to get me over my fear of flying. Where is the Litecoin Summit?
San Francisco.
I can't tell you, but all I'm saying is I can't tell you the location, but I'm promise. Crow, look at me when I talk to you, Mister.
I'm looking
you will
at
be
you.
There.
I'm looking at you.
You will be there. Just because my eyes are slanted.
Yeah, I can't see where you're looking, but I'm looking at you.
First of all, I tried to fly Crow to the Litecoin Summit. Remember this as part of the Crypto Influence Retreat?
Oh, yeah, you did.
He was supposed to be on the panel at the Litecoin Summit.
I forgot about that.
Of course, I'll be at the Litecoin Summit. The Litecoin Foundation contacts me to set up the influencer panels, which I'll put you on.
But next year will be epic. I'm telling you. I am telling you.
Crypto podcast.
And Crow will be there whether he likes it or not.
There. What about Ronis sitting over there? Come on.
He's been so nice and patient.
I'm no influencer. I'm just a regular guy that loves crypto, and I'm no influencer. You guys, if it's an influencer panel, I don't think I have any.
If you look at Gracie's attitude, he's so calm and patient.
Oh, he's calm as a Hindu cow, man. This whole video, he's just been chilling and smiling.
What we can do? How about this? We can do a self-defense demonstration. How to protect maybe someone trying to grab your ledger or your crypto, and then we can do like moves and how to defend your crypto, save your crypto.
That's perfect.
That's right. Let's do. Hey,
that's the stage for Charlie.
We would love to use the name Gracie.
Yeah, the Gracie Ledger.
I was gonna say, like, when you were talking about going to merchants, you should probably go to jiu-jitsu academies. There's so many Gracie and non-Gracie as well. jiu-jitsu academies around like the country, and not just in Brazil, of course, not just in the US, but across the world. It's I'm if you can get those guys to accept Litecoin maybe as a means of payment, I think they will like it.
Where do you live?
I live in New
Mr.
York.
Gracie, New York. Okay, we'll come visit you. I have a Litecoin East Coast team that works in New York and New Jersey. We'll come see you.
Hey,
okay, let's talk.
I'm serious. We'll come see you. I have a guy that lives in New Jersey. He goes all over and pushing for adoption and signing up businesses.
Hey,
I promise you. I need your number.
Yeah. Let's.
I need to connect you to my boy Rusty, man, and get you guys on some serious NASCARs next year. That's what you guys should do.
Hey! What did you say?
NASCAR.
Ooh, how did you know?
How did I know? Well, I got the plug for your NASCAR.
All I'm saying is get ready for 2019.
I like where this is going.
The rest is in the same group chat we're all in, Johnny. You can't call it your contact if Crow gave it to you. Come on.
What do you mean?
Oh, I don't know. I think he's got something else going on, but we'll see.
Hey,
it's different.
Well, Johnny, all four of us are in a group chat, so we're all friends. But me, Crow, and Ronis met each other for the first time in New York at the Crypto Influencer Awards. That's happening again in February, this time at Crow's home in Cincinnati, Ohio. Last year, Charlie Lee won the award for best Twitter feed. He got voted by the fans for having the best tweets. And he wanted to show up. We got in contact with him a little bit, but it didn't happen. He's up for the award again this year for best Twitter feed. If he wins this time, you got to bring him by Chainwise.
There you go.
So is it? I know, but is this happening at the Chainwise event?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's happening at Chainwise now at the Sharonville Convention Center in Cincinnati, Ohio. So we've been working on that for a little while.
One of these suckers right here.
Well, and the thing of it is everybody, like I have this relationship with Biz TV, which is you can look it up later, but Biz TV, it's a national television network, and they have affiliate stations all over the country. And basically, what we're doing is the lectures. So when companies book booths, right, like promotional booths at the convention, if they want a speaking role, they can speak, do a 45-minute lecture. We're shooting those, turning those into an hour episode of television for Biz TV and my channel. So I'm going to have a new playlist specifically called the Chainwise playlist. And every lecture, everything that we do throughout Chainwise is going to be uploaded to my YouTube channel, and then it's going to be aired on national television. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Like on national television. You got to get him there, Johnny.
Yeah.
I would try, but I mean, Charlie's got a really, really crazy schedule. So,
Charles Hoskinson is coming. That's all I'm saying. He's coming. Charles Hoskinson is making it.
He's not the silent ninja, though.
He's not the silent ninja. Yeah. Alex Mashinsky is coming also. I'm just saying, you know.
Hey,
I mean, he's only the voiceover IP patent holder. I mean, he's nobody. No big deal.
Think of it this way.
Man, my boy is chilling like a mofo right now. Name drop.
That's right.
We can have our rematch, you and me.
Oh yes.
Television.
And we should do it in like one of those little blow up pools filled with mud. MMA mud wrestling at Chainwise.
Are you really a referee a mud match between me and Johnny?
Oh, I'll referee a mud match, sure.
No, I don't want 7-foot mud ogre anywhere near me.
Oh man. Well, gentlemen.
Hey guys, I have one final question for you guys. So we haven't talked about it yet, but there are some other crypto currency that sponsor MMA fighters. Rory McDonald is sponsored by Dash, and John Fish is sponsored by Bitcoin Cash, I believe. Could be wrong on that. Rory McDonald is fighting John Fish in Bellator in an upcoming event sometime in the next couple of months here. It will be the first ever crypto versus crypto MMA fight, where McDonald gets paid in in Dash and
Hey John. So I have an idea. So I have one of my cousins, Ronis Gracie, is in the same division. That's talking about the Bellator for the GP, right?
He fights the winner, right?
So exactly, he will fight the winner. So we have so it seems like we have Bitcoin Cash against Dash. So I guess we gotta get my cousin to represent Litecoin family, huh?
Oh.
Hey, so how good is he?
How would you like, John? I know you're gonna like this. How would you like to see Litecoin, making either Dash or I guess mainly Bitcoin Cash tapping out? How would you like that?
Oh, bro, I would play that on like on repeat on my Twitter page every single.
John, you are aware of the
make it happen
tournament, right?
No, I'm not aware of that.
Bellator has a welterweight tournament going on. It's an 8-man welterweight tournament. So they're pretty far into it. But Ronis Gracie, which is Ronis' cousin, just tapped out Ed Roof. He's advanced. He fights the winner of Rory McDonald versus John Fitch. And not only that, it will be for the championship. Because
dude, that would be a good angle. But that would be a good angle. But if we lost, that would be really bad.
That's true. But honestly, look, I mean, I'm biased to say this, right? But my cousin, he's just like, he's undefeated. So that's all I can say. He's undefeated right now, and he has tapped out every single one of his competitors in the last. I think he has about 9 fights. So he's 9-0, 9 submissions. So I think if you look at statistics, against those 2 other fighters, I mean, they're very good, they're very tough, but you never know. I think maybe the odds are in your favor.
And it's for the championship. It's for the Bellator welterweight.
It's for the belt, and it's very interesting. 50 Cent is going to give $1 million to the champion.
50 Cent doesn't have $1 million. He's got 50 Cent.
Remember, he found some Bitcoins that was like...
But then he came back and said that wasn't true.
What?
Oh, that wasn't true.
Yeah, once the government called him and they're like, oh, yeah, you're paying taxes on half of it. He's like, oh, no, never mind. I don't know what Bitcoin is.
I think it's true.
Oh, really? Okay.
But no. It's true that 50 Cent accepted Bitcoin for his album back in like 2010. So he has to have some. If you didn't know what it was, then it would have just surged through the moon.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I think he probably did, and he does still have some, but I think I read that it was all a big misunderstanding.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't think 50 Cent wants anybody to know that he has anything anymore. I think 50 Cent just wants everybody to think he's got 2 quarters, and that's why his name is 50 Cent. He wants everybody to leave him alone.
About 2 quarters? All this about 2 quarters?
All right, let's look. I'm going to look at chat a little bit, see if there are any notes or questions or anything. I don't really see a lot of questions. Is Charlie Lee going to Anarchapulco?
I don't think so. We've been invited, but I don't think so. Because I think he's going to Hong Kong. So. Okay.
2019, Dana White to change name to Dana Light.
Oh, I like that.
Dana Light. Interesting.
Yo, Ronis, this is Dabo. Dabo is actually a police officer in the UK who saved like a whole family from a burning house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no bullshit. I saw the newspaper articles and everything. They had to put a picture of his ugly mug up there and everything. Yo, Ronis, what's going down between Ralph and Flavio?
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what's going on. It's apparently they had some, I guess, some argument, something during like one of the jiu-jitsu competitions. I really can't comment much because I don't really know what's going on. I haven't, he's my cousin, everything. I know they had these arguments, and but I don't know what's going on. Yeah, I mean, I guess I would say shit happened. And
it's a video. If anyone's interested, we're not gonna go into it, but you can look up the video and judge for yourself, right?
Dio Trice.
Yeah, but I just want to just one thing. I just want to comment. There's on this video, right? Because people need to understand that they don't know what they were talking about, because the video shows maybe one side being more aggressive than the other, and there's more things to the video. These guys know each other for many years, so just saying that out there. If you happen to watch the video.
Dio Trice he paid $5 to make a comment. I got $5 on Charlie Lee on Joe Rogan. Maybe Puff? Question? Nah, Charlie's methodical enough.
You know what? Elon Musk thought he was methodical.
You know what? That's such bullshit that he got so much flack for that. I mean, come on.
I actually like him more now.
I know, me too. I never even really cared that much, but like watching that, I was just like, more power to him. I mean, people are just so stupid. I'm sorry.
I was like, dude, he's human.
He is. He's human.
First time I realized that he's a human.
He's a brilliant human.
I shared a post on my Twitter last night that is someone photoshopped Elon Musk on Joe Rogan as the character Smoke from Mortal Kombat. It's the best thing I've ever shared. Go check that out.
I will have to check that out.
I gotta tell people about my Twitter. Yo, at John Kim 77. You should follow me.
We're doing this.
If you want some good content.
At John Kim 77. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna send you something to retweet. We're gonna have some fun with you now.
Hold up.
Smash the likes for all you freeloading slackers out there watching this. Smash up the likes.
It's a shill. No. John Kim is not the only gets to shill his Twitter. We're all gonna do it, okay?
Shill those Twitter accounts before we sign off. We've been talking for an hour and a half.
I can't even hear you. Hold up, I'm shilling my Twitter.
Well, shill your Twitter.
MKT, Boosto.io, CryptoInfluence.io, Socialbook.io. Showed it all. It's gonna help everyone. It's great. Go use it. Ronis, your turn.
Yeah. So my Twitter is Ronis Gracie. So that's it. Just Ronis Gracie, and Ronis, it's RONIS, one N. People tend every time I go to Starbucks, they put two N. I don't know why they think it's double N, but.
So Ronis, I'm gonna follow you, and then.
Hey John, you're muted.
Oh, am I?
Yeah, it's shh.
Whatever.
No, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear him too. I'm just screwing with him.
So I'm gonna follow you on Twitter, and I'm gonna either come visit you or send my team so that we can all meet and talk and see how we can help push adoption with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay?
Yeah, let's do it. I have a ton. By the way, a lot of my cousins own crypto in my family, so we all familiar, and they all love it.
That's right. See, everywhere I go, I find a way to push adoption in some way, form, or another, and I just got me another one. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I'm coming for you, baby.
All right, gentlemen, we'll call it here. We could do this pretty much anytime. Just as a quick recap, Litecoin sponsors the UFC coming up this Saturday. If you're interested in seeing it all live, you'll probably see some of these goons that are out there at that event wearing Litecoin shirts. And so get the pay-per-view and check it out. I think it's actually a pretty monumental thing. Is he about to show us his butt?
No.
Take control of your money. Hashtag pay with Litecoin. There you go.
I like it.
There you go. All right. Till next time, everybody, crow your coins, even if that's Litecoin.
Crow.
Yes.
One second. Next one. Let's do Mr. Gracie, me, you, Adam, and Ben Askren, okay?
Let's do it. Anytime.
All right.
Have a good night, guys. Crow your coins. See you guys soon.